Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today's awesome guest, we had so much fun, is Brad Williams from Over 40 Fitness Hacks. Brad has owned and operated 3 gym locations in Orange County, California. He has been a trainer for many years, focusing on the 40 plus crowd. And we had so much fun. We talked about a bunch of different hacks that you can use for time management, for nutrition, and for supplementation. So let's go and say hello to Brad. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhite, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Hey everyone, this is Tracy, and I have a special announcement. In order for me to help more women age stronger, I have created a 90-day one-on-one coaching program. And the goal here is to teach women over 50 how to age stronger while burning fat and boosting energy without going hungry or living in the gym. If you'd like more information, please hit me up at tracy@highenergygirl.com or friend me on Facebook and send me a message. I have a goal of transforming 1,000 women in the next year, and I hope you are one of them. Hey, Brad, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tracy.
So talk about who you are, where you've been. We just kind of want to get to know you to start with.
Absolutely. Brad Williams, born and raised here in Central California. Grew up with mom as a nurse, dad was a doctor, so I've kind of always been in the health and wellness just from the get-go. And ended up, moving down here to Orange County, California. Went to school for business and decided to open up my own gym because I was super into fitness. And for the last 15 years, being a gym owner, personal trainer, online coach, and just dealing with the awesome, business activities of dealing with California in general, and then COVID, it kind of pushed a lot of us, and myself included, into the online world and started doing more online training and coaching. And then I created my podcast, Over 40 Fitness Hacks. And my whole thing has always been, I've never been the militant boot camp instructor, personal trainer, which, some people vibe with those people. Mine is more of the fun, relaxing, average Joe and Jane's gym. Come on down. We're just looking for a simple weight tone in and just little hacks, because I do not push them to give up their social life. I love my social life. I am not going to give it up. But here's the things you need to do, especially being over 40 now, that it's harder. And, that's kind of where I come from.
Cool. And when you said Central California, were you raised?
Yeah, born and raised in Visalia, California. The easiest way, it's just a little south of Fresno. That's the big city everyone knows.
Oh, okay. I've heard of Australia. Okay, so you're in Huntington Beach?
Yes.
That must be awesome. I've never been there, but I can just imagine it's probably amazing.
Yeah, Huntington Beach is so fun. It's like, just like anywhere in California, you have access to go to the mountains if you want to, and we can see them, but I'm more of the beach type guy. And here in Southern California, like Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Huntington Beach all have a similar feel and vibe. It's always sunny. We never get the rain, and it's just been awesome. And actually, I am moving down to San Diego this summer, more of a kind of a push to get my 6-year-old daughter closer to her cousins and my sister. And I love San Diego too, and all of San Diego, inland, everything. So that's kind of the next part of my venture in the next coming months.
Awesome. So with COVID, did you close down your gym?
With COVID, it was kind of the icing on the cake. Like I mentioned, just doing business in California has just been so hard. And then in Orange County, it seems like it's gym capital of the world, where you got Pilates, yoga, everyone fighting for the same thing. It's just always been a struggle. And my whole thing was always, instead of going after the clients too much, I went after the trainers. So I became like a rental space. So I almost became a commercial realtor and was doing really good at it. And then some laws got changed. I don't know if you're familiar with the AB5 law that Newsom in California all voted in, and basically told us we couldn't classify our independent contractors anymore as independent. They had to be employees. So I had to basically kick almost everyone out just from that. And then COVID became the icing on the cake, but I was already kind of moving over to the online world anyway. So now I just have one gym left. Love going in there, very passionate about helping my over 40 people, but I only work there 2 days a week and the rest I just do online.
So I have a little tip for you. If
Yeah.
you want to get under the radar with all the bullshit politics, do a PMA business structure, a
Yeah.
private membership association, and they have no control over how you run your business.
Okay. And the other way too is I have partners and they do like real estate stuff. So the loophole would be, okay, fine. Our place has office and gym. So it's no longer, my gym was called Evolve Gym. It's no longer called Evolve Gym. It's called Barrett Heritage Racing LLC. And they just happen to have a gym that they rent out to trainers. So that was our loophole of now that we get away with. But other than that, just the brick and mortar expenses and everything, it's just everything's been pushing me to the online world and so much more scalable. So I'm kind of more focused on, the online.
Cool. Well, just for your wisdom,
That's a
look
very cool
up
tip, yeah.
PMA because any business owner, especially in this field, can benefit from a PMA versus any type of LLC or corporate structure.
Very cool.
We're talking all kinds of good stuff, taxes, everything. You are under the radar.
Awesome.
So, okay, with that said, so I'm assuming you're 40.
Yeah, 42. So I've been doing my show for about 2 years. So I started it when I turned 40 officially.
Oh, awesome. So let's talk about challenges and then hacks. Like, what do you find people in that age group have as the biggest challenge for themselves?
One is time. So you got to be more efficient with your time. 2 is accountability, which is why they always hired us in the first place. Because, even I have an accountability coach because even trainers need trainers. So imagine all the people plus that's why they're hiring us. And diet, I mean, you just look at the entire United States, diet's not the greatest, all our processed food. So that's huge. And then here in Orange County, it is like I was telling you, it's so much fun over here. There's so many options to go out and eat bad food and drink and everything. And most of my clients are unwilling to give up, much of that. So I've had to work around there where you go to other areas where it's, just to mention a place like Irvine, it's more business focused and they only have so much time to do stuff. They are more on their diets, on their training. They don't really go party that much, but I just have a different region here in Orange County.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'd fit right in. So, okay, the first one you said was time.
Yeah.
So I believe that we make time for the things that are the most important to us.
That's true.
So what's your hack for time?
So for time, just in my field and specialty, it's more of just what can I do in a short amount of time to get the same benefit? When we were doing personal training back in our 20s, you would program out splits to, have a leg day, a chest day, a back day, and then hit them again, and then you're over 41, your body's slowly starting to fall apart. You can't beat it up that much. 2, you don't have time. You've got work, you've got kids. So now it's more programming full body workouts and adding more like Pilates type movements or negatives to it, where you're lengthening the muscle and slowing it down and putting yourself under tension. So, whether you're doing a leg squat, a bicep curl, you do it slower with less weight. So you get that eccentric move with the concentric, you get more bang for the buck, and you can do it all in less time. So I don't really do anything more than 30-minute workouts now. And I think my body has adapted even better than when I was going 7 days a week.
Yeah, because your gains are made during your rest period.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing that you start learning is, God, rest and diet are it. I mean, you can work out once a week and probably get better benefits than, your mindset back in your 20s. So you just got to work smarter, and that's easier for people who have a hard time schedule. Okay, fine, let's just work with 30-minute workout a week, and then we'll build up from that.
Yeah, people don't realize the benefit of the super slow. Like I used to teach TRX, and we would do sometimes we would do super slow sets, and they'd be freaking shaken. Like they didn't realize, or just doing it in the weight room with a lighter weight and just going super slow. It's definitely a good change.
And on each muscle group too, you're actually stronger on the eccentric, fighting something crushing you down, or you trying to push it away as it's coming in. You're stronger that way, but none of us really train that method too much. We talk about doing negatives, but no one really ever does it, mostly in Pilates. So I really focused on doing negatives, shorter workouts, and balance, and a couple other things too. So
balance. What do you mean balance?
So, balance, it's great for everybody, young and older, but mainly, my older clients, slips, trips, and falls is the biggest worry. They're not really.
Oh, you mean like balance, standing on one leg type balance?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also balance in motion. It's one thing to stand on one leg, but it's also, doing walking lunges while you're turning your head. You'd be surprised, just making that one motion of turning your head, how many people will just topple right over. And you can train them.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I did a podcast with a friend who's a roller derby girl, and she had me go on there and talk about, power type movements and also balance for her derby girls. And that was one of the things. These people, I don't know if you know that one, they're going around the track on their skates, and they are hitting like you're hitting in rugby, and their head is on a swivel every second. And that can, with that much force going and turning your head, they're flopping all over the place. So the true athletes are the ones who can keep going without looking. So it was kind of a cool episode talking about that. But, it's not just for athletes. It's, like I said, for my older clients, slips, trips, and falls is what takes you out of the game later.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I like yoga. So we do a lot of balancing, and, you're moving from one posture to another on one leg. Mm-hmm. So you're strengthening that base leg or the standing leg, but you're constantly moving from one thing to the next while balancing. So I think it's really important. And then your second one was, so the first one you said was time. The second one, did you say it was nutrition?
Yeah, just diet being, that's pretty much the main thing of everyone's problem. But
so how do you help them with that?
So with my over 40 crowd who, my pitch is without giving up your social life, we could tweak it a little bit, but I'm not going to make you give it away. One of the biggest things, hacks I call them, has just been, fasting. Like all the benefits from fasting, starting off with intermittent fasting, put in all your eating windows into tighter windows, 10-hour windows, then 8, then maybe 6, always check with your medical provider, if you can do this. But I've been really benefiting from that, not to mention pushing it to the next level, which is long fasting. So I don't know if you do much of that, but I started with, a 12-hour, then a 24, then a 36, and just finished a 48 last week. And you actually feel better and better and better. And in such a short window, I did a test with my doctor, got approval from him first. And I did the 48 hours, I did it for 4 months, all this stuff. And to watch I'm pretty fit. My cholesterol levels may be a little high, but my good cholesterol matches it because I'm on the keto diet. Not for everybody, but I love it for all the benefits. But to watch that drop down by 20% in 4 months, my doctor couldn't believe it. And then all my other levels of minerals, potassium, calcium, magnesium, all up in the upper echelon of where they should be. And then my liver enzymes, my main thing is, I like to party on the weekends within reason, but your liver takes a beating, and so does, just our typical American diet too. Watching my liver enzymes, the best they've ever been from just a 4-month stint. And I contribute that all to long fasting.
So how often were you doing a 48-hour fast?
Well, so I started intermittent fasting for a while, like 6 months, and then I started doing the 36-hour fasts, and I did it for 5 weeks in a row. And went
Like
from
one a week?
one a week, and I always do it on Monday, which is my busiest day at the gym and everything, because you cannot even be thinking about food and be around it. So I did that I committed to 5. So I did 5 weeks in a row, and I went from 224 down to 206. And that was with having fun on the weekends. I just pay the price on Monday. So Sunday night I'm done, and then Tuesday at lunchtime I can have my first meal. So then I just, kept pushing it a little bit farther. And after that, I only do it like really once a month now. One, you don't want to, the longer you stay away from it, the harder it is to get back in, which was when I first started it. It was a little rough. But now that your body's so used to it, oh man, I can do next month I'll jump into a 48-hour again and feel great the whole time.
So let's talk about this.
Mhm.
So my goal with fitness right now, well, okay, so my goal is getting stronger. I do CrossFit, and like my whole thing is just I want to get stronger and see it, like notice it when I track. So if you do intermittent fasting and you're trying to shrink your eating window, how much protein can your body absorb in one meal? Actually utilize the protein.
So that concept's been talked about forever, where they talk about, you can only absorb 20 grams of protein, or some people say 40 and 60. Everybody's different how your body assimilates it. It also matters the source of protein, whey protein concentrate versus whey protein isolate or pea protein isolate. There's better stuff. And I really push my over 40 audience to get the better stuff because we need the extra help. But even from natural sources like, meats and fish, it just depends. And there's little hacks for that too. Like I take digestive enzymes whenever I eat beef or chicken and all that. And for me, I'm a 210-pound guy right now. My macros, I try to hit 200 grams of protein. That is hard to hit. No one ever hits the amount of protein they need, but that's how you build your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, and your muscle mass. So, for you're trying to you want to see the gains in your body and everything, and you're doing all this hard CrossFit workouts, your nutrition's got to be on point every day. And meaning you have to hit that protein, and then you got to use these hacks to absorb that protein. So for me, I'm taking 60 grams a hit, but I need, like I said, those digestive enzymes. And
what brand of enzymes do you like?
So for brands, I really don't have a specific brand. I just look for like I go to Sprouts and look at their digestive enzymes, and Protease is the enzyme really to break down the meats and stuff, and that's what I'm using it for. So just whatever the best bang for the buck. And I'm kind of blindly having faith in Sprouts that they're picking good quality products. I could get better suggestions, but I don't have them.
So do you do a high fat keto?
No, I do more of a high protein and tone down the fat just a little bit because I'm more interested in the bodybuilding aspects. So I don't want to lose that. So I might be in a lower ketosis state than someone who's doing the high fat. But, when I want to, and when I do these fasts, that's the other benefit of doing a longer fast. If you're already keto adapted, I'll switch in, and I've got like a little breathalyzer that'll check my ketones, and my ketones are off the charts. And that's why the longer you go, you're just getting that bang for the buck. If you can go 48 hours, I'm in full ketosis.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time I'm trying to protect my muscle though, because I am trying to, get as much lean muscle mass as I can.
So that's my next question. Do those longer fasts affect your gains? Do you notice any difference?
Maybe a tiny bit. And the other thing I started learning is taking certain essential aminos that don't break your fast, that don't kick out your ketosis state. And it'll help save your muscle mass. Because during the fast, I would say the first day your body's fighting it, you probably are losing muscle first until your body just lets go, goes into ketosis, and starts using, fat as your primary source. And like I said, if you're already keto adapted, you're already quicker to switch into that anyways. But Yeah, those essential aminos have been doing something. And I just did a body fat scan at my gym just from 5 weeks, and I did see a spike in lean muscle mass than I did from the previous time because I just started taking those aminos. So
Oh, are they pills or a powder?
it's pills. And I got it off Amazon. They were I think they were Dr. Berg. I don't know if you've heard his name in the health and wellness field,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of his thing: is 7 essential aminos that do
Mm-hmm.
not kick you out of ketosis or break your fast.
Interesting. Okay, so you're going to want to listen to the podcast I did with oh gosh, I can't remember who it is. He was 70 years old. He's a medical doctor, Ironman triathlete, and he has a amino acid. That's what I'm drinking right now. It's like a powder.
Okay.
And but he said, and he did a ton of studies on all this. He has like a massive clinic down in Florida with like, I don't know, 60 some employees. But he said that how many essential amino acids are there? Like 12?
Yeah, 12 or 14
20?
or something like that.
Okay. Well, basically you need an equal amount of each for that to be synergistically to be able to go into your muscle. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's always the lowest common denominator. So if you have 2 of this one and then 4 and then 6 and then 8, only 2 of each are going to absorb. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what he found. And do you know what he also found is the best absorbed like protein that we would eat is eggs, whole eggs. 49% of a whole egg is actually utilized, and the rest is digested or metabolized as a carbohydrate. 32% for meat, chicken, and fish. And for dairy and egg whites, it's like 12 to 14%.
Yep.
Is that
I have
crazy?
Yep, I have eggs every day because of that reason.
Yeah, me too. 3 a day. I just thought that was interesting. So you believe that, because I've been keto I'm 57 and I started right around my 50th birthday.
Oh,
So you believe that these longer fasts, if you're in ketosis already, they will not break down your muscle.
um, you have to watch that, but it probably does. But so does your body. Just does this naturally every day, anyways, even on your recovery days. It's but it's a fighting game to stay. Like if your body, its natural state is to want to go back down. We created as humans, the process of working out for all the benefits, mostly to offset all the poisons in our society. But we also like the aesthetic looks of it too, and then our ability to play sports and just be more functional. But our body is not, unless we keep training this way, our body's just going to go back to its genetic set point, of being smaller and thinner. So we only started doing this in the last 100 years of creating this. But yeah, your body's always attacked. It's just a horrible game, cat and mouse. You building up this muscle. You have a couple bad days, you're not doing anything, and your body chews it all up because its last thing it wants to do is ever burn fat off your body because that's its survival technique. So that's why it's so horrible being over 40. You start seeing your body like, okay, we're playing the long game now. It starts storing more fat, usually for guys in the midsection and girls kind of around the hips. And it's just not fair. But that's why we came up with all these other hacks to, fight this aging process.
Yeah. No, I love it. I keep saying I'm going to do a water Wednesday, like no food on Wednesday, and then I keep not doing it. So I'm going to try again this coming week. But this week usually I don't do CrossFit on Wednesday. It's just I do yoga.
Uh-huh.
But this week I messed up my schedule. So I'm going to try it again this coming week. You're inspiring me. So do you have anything besides water? Do you have coffee? Do you have anything else on your fasting days?
Yeah. So I do, water, tea, black coffee only. And then I do a detox drink, which I kind of created after talking to a podcast guest on my show who really knew his, macro or micro minerals and spices and all that kind of stuff. So basically I do a heavy black pepper, turmeric, cayenne, and what else? And then lemon juice, and then apple cider vinegar, the Bragg's kind. And then I detox with that. And I take that every morning anyways, just all the health benefits from each one of those. But on fasting days, I take it 3 times a day. So my thing is, if you're going to be suffering during this fast, you might as well get all the benefits out of it, because your body's got nothing to digest or use except for the few things you're putting in it. Might as well give it, a detox.
Okay, so we're gonna need some recipes here, Brad. You can't just say, oh, this, and this. How much of
Yeah.
each? What's the recipe?
So for apple cider vinegar, always test this out, because there is people who have a reaction to it. So I used to tell people to take, I say a shot, just because in my world, that's how I measure stuff. But that's, 1.5 ounces. So you always tell people start with a 1/2 ounce of apple cider vinegar. I would even do less than that, to see if you're one of those people who will have this big reaction to it. Because one of my clients did, and she was going to the bathroom for like the next day and a half. So I was like, whoa, and I read about it. So test it first, but start with like a 1/2 ounce. You can creep up to like 1.5 ounces of apple cider vinegar. I do like a heavy teaspoon of black pepper, and that's to help kill like the bad bacteria in your colon. And then everything else I use like a 1/4 teaspoon of the cayenne pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. And then lemon juice, I just put like just a couple squirts in there. I don't really measure that one out. Probably comes out to about a teaspoon.
Of lemon
And then
juice?
of lemon juice, yeah. And then I use a little bit of stevia just to sweeten it, because I just cannot take the taste of apple cider vinegar without something to help.
And do you like douse it with water? Like, is it all water?
No, well, you want to put the least amount of water to get this down your throat. You do not want to put enough water in there where you're sitting there just not wanting to do this. So I
So it's
put
a
maybe
shot.
like it's like a 2 shots, like 1/4 cup of water. You want to get it down fast and not have to enjoy every second of it.
Gag. I'd probably be
And,
nauseous. So
and here's
turmeric, pepper, cayenne, and lemon.
and cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Okay.
And
I'm
then
gonna try it.
I'm starting this one this week. So I'm trying to really, because I'm doing so well off this fast, I'm trying to like just supercharge this fast. I do a little bit more walking and easier workouts too. If you're fat burning, just keep it going. But I don't know if you've really ever done much with the supplement L-carnitine.
Mm-mm.
So L-carnitine was always my hack for. It doesn't really work for weightlifters. So a lot of people come into my gym, that's what they're there for. But for the cardio people, L-carnitine is like a super cheap. And taking 1 to 3 grams of this L-carnitine, and I usually get the liquid instead of having to take another pill. And the liquid usually has a flavor that's great. But what that does, it helps facilitate when you're in fat burning zone. That's why we always said it's for the aerobic people, not the anaerobic people. If you're in the fat burning zone, your mitochondria in your cells pull the fat into the cell, because that's now its main use right now, because you're in that anaerobic state, fat burning state. L-carnitine helps speed that up so that the processing gets faster. And when I was doing little running stints, oh my God, you'd get so much more benefit out of supplementing with that. So now that we're doing this fasting and, I'm keto adapted, I'm going to now start trying putting that back in the equation, because you're in the fat burning zone. It just makes sense. So now that's my next step to see, can I break, how much benefits for the 48 I can get.
So do you take L-carnitine only when you're fasting, or do you take it daily?
So L-carnitine, I'll probably build up to it, because it needs to be in your body just a little bit before you start that fast. So probably the day before, and then I'll take it during the fast. But most of the time, I hate cardio. I just do enough just to get by, like walking. So I'm never really in that fat burning zone. And I'm like, keto will put you in the fat burning zone, right? But I'm more of a Cheeto, I call it. So I'm a slightly higher carb than a traditional keto person. So I really don't want to waste the money on L-carnitine if I'm not in the zone. But now the fast, I'll bring it back in.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to try that too. This has been fun. What are your thoughts about, oh crap, I just ordered it. My trainer told me to get it. What's the other thing that people take? It's like a supplement. that people take for muscle building. I just got it.
Like
Oh, hold
creatine
on.
or
Creatine. Yes, I just ordered that. What is your
yes.
thoughts about that?
So creatine, it's more of like putting more, ATP, creatine phosphate in your cells, more for like strength and power. And it's a little taxing on the liver. Um, as long as you're watching your blood work and it seems fine. We always taught people to like cycle it, but it's more of like just getting to that next level if that's what you want, of like strength gains. But as soon as you stop taking it, your body lowers back down, and your hope is that maybe you gain like 5 or 10% more out of your workouts and strength. It wasn't really too much for muscle building per se. It was more of just getting to the heavier stuff, which could contribute to a higher, leaner mass. But my main focus is more, going slower, functional training, no injuries. And I only really do 2 workouts a week at this point. And so I kind of just stay away from the creatine.
Okay. Well, yeah, he told me about that. I said, well, I'll try it, but I could always give it to my husband or my son.
Yeah.
So because my goal right now is to get strict pull-ups. I can do one, but I want like multiple strict pull-ups, without any kip or without anything. And so that's my goal.
So that's a hard muscle to build up, comparably to how heavy we are, our bodies. So
hey, watch it.
No, I'm just saying all humans.
I'm just teasing.
But that I get clients that was all they wanted, and that's fine. And then it's just a simple thing, start on like a lat pull down versus doing pull-ups. Because if you go straight to pull-ups, especially the over 40 people, you start taking a little more damage to your ligaments. And once you start getting that tennis elbow or golf elbow, you'll start feeling it. Oh my God, that takes like months to get rid of. So it's better to warm it up and do like lat pulls and build yourself up to it. And then also working like the negatives, like don't just be pulling down and coming right back up. You got to focus on slowing it down. You get so much more gains out of doing that.
Yeah.
And of course, you're watching your diet. Yeah. And just the more you train on something, the stronger you're going to become naturally anyways. But yeah, the creatine will help you with that. You will be stronger on that pull. But the second you stop taking it, you'll be like, why can't I do 5 pull-ups anymore? It's gone. So it's kind of a fake, gives you a fake sense of security of strength.
Screw that. I don't want that. I
already do too much stuff to damage my liver. I don't need to add another one that's been known to kind of put a beat down on your liver. So
that's the whole thing. Like the liver, like all my old group of friends, I had this whole group of friends and they were all into those hormone pellets. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
So in our area, all these women got these hormone pellets, maybe when they were about 50 or something. And, but one of the side effects is increased risk of breast cancer.
Ugh.
I'm like, why in the hell would you want? And plus they all got like fluffier. And I'm like, why would you want to do that? It just doesn't make, because now I feel better and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, like, but you want to increase your risk of breast cancer. Just to, there's other things you can do to feel good. So anyways, but
that's the same theory of like, I can get every possible fantasy dream of what my body could look like by just taking steroids, and it's readily available. Even my doctor would let me do it if I wanted to, but I know the risks and possible cancerous risks and to damage to your heart and all that. I don't want to. My end game is to try to be the longest living male in my time frame. That's my goal.
Oh, my goal is so unlike most people, the gym is my happy place. I don't go there to look good. I go there because that's just part of who I am and it just feels good. Yeah. Like not
looking good is just a byproduct.
Yeah, that just helps. But it's just fun for me. It's like my playground. And my goal is to get stronger slowly without injury so that I can keep doing this, for year after year after year.
Yeah.
And but I also don't want to just say, oh, I'm older now, I'm not going to get stronger, because I think that's a bunch of BS too. Do you know the story about Willie Murphy? Have
Mm-mm.
you heard the story?
No.
Oh, she walked into her local YMCA in New York at 70 years old, or 73. And there was a sign on the wall that said weightlifting competition. And she said, can I do that? And he's like, go for it, Granny. And so she started with 5-pound dumbbells. Fast forward 4 years later, the 77-year-old woman at 110 pounds could deadlift 220.
That's insane.
That is my favorite story ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you're
love I
not
love
too
seeing
old.
that. Well, I love seeing that on social media too. You see someone who's in their 90s and or high 80s, and they're doing this insane workouts. And you're like, how is this possible? But it gives the rest of us hope that we can still look like that. And they don't even look that age either. I had
Yeah.
one guy, my best story of coming into my gym. It was a guy that was in Leisure World in Seal Beach, which is real close to Huntington Beach. He came in and he was 88, and he looked real fit. He did not look 88, and he just wanted to just go somewhere new, and he just did a gym day pass, and I would help spotting him and everything, and he was doing like 60-pound dumbbell chest presses. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me at your age.
Nice.
And he was just lean and mean. It was awesome to see that.
Yeah.
But
Just
yeah,
don't
like,
stop.
just don't get injured. That is all what I preach on my show all the time. You got to do everything you can not to get injured, because it's so horrible having to build back up all the time.
Yeah. And have a good team. Like, I love my chiropractor.
Oh yeah.
My chiropractor is like my savior, because we did some deadlifts the other day and I tweaked something, and I knew ice and chiropractic, get me back. But that's important. Okay. So we covered the nutrition, we covered the fasting, and the time management. You had one more that you said was like a typical excuse or a typical challenge you hear from clients when they come in.
I mean, just drinking too much. But well,
Oh,
I
that's
would,
a good one.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, you wanted to what?
I was gonna say I was gonna touch on after talking to one of the podcast guests on my show about like micronutrients. We always, in our world, personal trainers, we were always focused on the macros, which is fat, carbs, and protein. Just very simple. But really taking an in-depth look at your micronutrients, and especially potassium and magnesium and calcium, your electrolytes. And we would do as personal trainers, like go on MyFitnessPal and have people track all their stuff so we can watch it. Those programs don't really track the micronutrients, and a lot of places don't even put some of those micronutrients on their nutrition labels.
Mm-hmm.
So a cool thing I wanted to give your show is this website I found. It's called eatthismuch.com, and it literally will tell you everything that every food on planet Earth has as far as macros and micros. That do not hold anything back. Not only that, but you could put in spinach versus cooked spinach, because when you cook something, things change.
Mm-hmm.
So then I did a little chart, and my guest, Tim Kelly was his name, that was on my show. He said, I challenge you to do a chart like you do for your macros. Do your micros and see what you do on a typical day that you think you would do. And he's like, I guarantee you your potassium will be insanely low, and your sodium, obviously we know because our American diet, they would be insanely high. And he was right. Potassium was pathetic compared to what your RDA should be for it. And so I was like, okay, let's put a little focus on that. And it's better to do real foods than supplements, because you can hurt yourself with potassium using supplements. And so I made a couple quick switches with potassium, and oh my God, like how dense my muscle looks because of it, how better my workouts have become because of it. And then potassium, raising that naturally pushes your sodium out of your body too, and it helps not to take in that much sodium. My blood pressure, I've had genetically high blood pressure. I always blame my dad, but I've refused to go on the drugs. But watching my blood pressure go from like 145 over 95 or 100 went right down to 120 over 70. Like I was back to 20 years old. And that happened within like a month.
So what'd you do for the hack? What'd you add for getting more potassium?
So coconut water is a huge one, but for us keto people, it's too much carbs. So for me, it was just the leafy greens, like started eating Swiss chard, spinach, kale, and I would mix it in, make a little salad out of it. And I just make a huge batch, store it in the fridge, and your body can only absorb so much, and you got to watch how much potassium you take in, because you'll start getting like heart flutters. So it's because too much potassium in your blood supply will start messing with the electric current of everything. So you just take it in smaller amounts, just like all your meals, you take a little bit of that stuff. And for us, it's low on the net carbs, so it keeps you in keto too. And blood doesn't lie. When I did my blood report, oh my God, that was right to the cusp of what the doctor says. Anything higher would be a little aggressive. So I kind of just kept it at that. But
do you have a natural doctor?
Yeah, this is my natural doctor. I've got chiros, just like you, but I just used my medical doctor for this one.
So he's like a traditional, regular Western medical
Yeah.
doctor?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Tim Kelly tells you that those RDAs, in the holistic world can be way different. And so, be careful of that stuff, but, creep everything up slowly. Don't just go for it. Just like fasting. You can't just go for a 48-hour fast if you've never tried it.
Yeah. Well, the RDA is the minimum amount you need to avoid a deficiency disease. It has nothing to do with optimal performance. So exactly. I think Tim Kelly came on my show a long time ago. That name sounds really familiar. Yeah, I was curious about the potassium because like usually people say potatoes, bananas, things like that, but it's a really easy way to get. Well, here's a question. So the difference between cooking spinach and eating raw spinach in the potassium concept, does it decrease when you cook it?
No, it increases, which is weird because like when you cook meat, you're killing and denaturing the protein. So, I mean, there's lots of protein in there, so you don't really worry about it. But, that's why I eat like medium rare as much as I can and all that. But in like vegetables, it seems like potassium just skyrockets when you cook it. But then other things, I don't know it off the top of my head, but other minerals will decrease because you cooked it out. So that's why like you have to watch each one you're doing, if you really want to get into this. It's like it's endless knowledge of like what's going on. And then, just like apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, it's acid. Why, when it goes into your body, does it alkalize and raise your pH? It's just what your body does to the end product. So cook spinach, when it goes through your system, potassium just skyrockets.
Wow. Because I like to take like I'm going to make a pot when I'm done today is just, the typical carrots, celery, onions, garlic. And then I throw a bunch of greens with bone broth because bone broth is so high in protein. And then I make collagen. Soup. Oh yeah. And it's so yummy. And then I make soup. And sometimes what I do is I'll blend it so it's more like a bisque. So it's creamy and, just easier to eat. But yeah, that's cool to think of adding a mixture of all of them. I love Swiss chard. That's like, and that kale, the Jacinto kale, it's what that they call it, dinosaur kale. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
We have that in our garden. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. It never stops. It's nuts. So it's easy. Okay. And then there was, go ahead.
I was going to say, you were touching on bone broth and like that's great for collagen too. Watching your minerals and checking how much copper and sulfur you're getting in your body. And that one was a little bit deficient as well. So the biggest one being like not even a pill or anything, just taking like garlic. It's easier for minced garlic. That helps your body get more sulfur. Oh my God, how smooth your skin gets within 3 days. And then forgetting to take it, and within 3 days you're back to, for me, it'd have a little psoriasis on my arms and little bumps and all that kind of stuff. And it just helps with, blood flow and collagen and getting that in your skin. It's insane. So,
well, you know what you can do about the bumps? In your shower, have an exfoliator, like a really nice exfoliator, and then put lotion on inside your shower before you get out, because then
dry off.
Yeah, well, you pat yourself dry, then you put on the lotion, and then you exit the shower. So your pores are open. And then the psoriasis I find usually has to do with some sort of a food, like a intolerance. So I went off
Yeah.
of dairy. I have no more dairy. And that has made, I don't have psoriasis, but I'm just saying that's like something I know. You
I
don't
could
do
add to it.
gluten, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll try
You
not
use
to.
gluten.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really eat too much carbs. And if I do it, it would be like my thing is like chips and salsa. So I make sure it's, corn.
Corn chips.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Make
told you I'm
sure
a
it's
Cheeto.
organic. Make sure it's
I try.
organic.
I try.
Or use, what about those like pork rinds? Those are so good, the
Uh,
spicy ones.
I can't do chicharrones. I can't do it.
No, not chicharrones, the brand 4505. They have them at Sprouts.
Ah,
They are like the Kobe beef of pork rinds. That company sent me like a whole case of all their flavors. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I just got this whole case of pork rinds, but they're
I'll,
really, really delicious.
all right, I'll try that out.
Just try that brand, see, but it's a better one. So with this apple cider vinegar shot, do you
Mhm.
just do one a day typically?
Yeah. So in the morning, that's the first thing I take while I'm waiting for my coffee pot to heat up. And then I recently started doing decaf first, because the longer you can hold off without having caffeine, it's just so much better for your, your energy levels throughout the day. So I started doing the shot, then a decaf coffee, and then right before I go to work, I got to be on point, the energetic trainer. Then I would take my coffee with me and drink that, and it's kind of a strong black coffee, and that's it. And
Okay.
since I did that, I've had great energy levels throughout the day. I don't really need another cup of coffee. And I used to be one of the junkies who'd be drinking the diet Red Bulls and stuff like that. But I've cut all that out.
Oh, that's awesome. My kids won 6 cases of Monster and a Monster refrigerator.
Yeah.
And
Stuff's so
they
bad.
don't like it because they know it's bad for you.
Oh, good.
But here's a funny story. So my husband's godmother, she's like in her late 80s. We were at a party and she's like, yeah, my doctor told me I need to start drinking more water and cut back on the coffee. I said, well, how much coffee are you drinking a day? She's like, I don't know, maybe 16 cups. Like 16 cups?
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
think you should cut back on that.
I just took
That
my
is
dad to this high-tech gym I was telling you I've been going to, and they were asking him, "Are you well hydrated?" And this is my medical doctor dad, and he said, "Oh yeah, well hydrated. I had about 3 cups of coffee, so I'm well hydrated." I'm like, "Dad, that's literally the opposite of hydration."
That is hilarious. Okay, I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
So, with the people who want to socialize, okay, how do you have them balance their good nutrition with their like party time? Like you said that you tell them, oh, you can do a little bit, So what's your shtick there?
Well, there's 2 parts to that. One is, I tell them about my 4 pillars of fitness, and in importance, it's, diet, weight training, cardio, and supplements. Which are those are you willing to give up? And it's never diet. They never want to do it. Okay. So you got to give a little bit more effort into the weight training. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, then we got to do cardio and most likely do supplements as well. I don't want to do any of that. Okay, it looks like we're going to be full supplements to, try to help you out. And the other part is just, timing this stuff. So, if you're going to be partying, let's say you're a social drinker, do your best to give your body a break, like Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, versus having something every day. You'll get so much more benefit by just, it's bad to say, but drinking a little bit much more on the 2 days that you're going to party, because you're going to do it anyways, and give your body none of that throughout the week. Just like why it's so beneficial of doing a detox, your body needs a break and be able to clear itself out. So that's why I tell them. So basically, I don't make them stop doing it. I'm like, you gotta push these to certain days. You can't do all the days. And then for the ones who are social eaters, just the processed stuff, it's basically easy. Just eat this, not that. We got to find something to replace all these favorites, maybe not your most favorite, but some of the other ones, and just there's so many recipes out there and so many different creative ways to cook that we can find something that'll be your new go-to for, ice cream or whatever. So that's how I kind of work with my clients on that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's always something to replace it. Like I just told you about the chips,
mhm,
versus that, because corn is one of the worst foods on
uh,
the planet that you
it
can
is.
eat,
I'm only
you
eating a
know?
couple chips, but yeah.
I always say to my clients, why do they give cows corn?
Yeah, 'cause it's the most processed, garbage, non-nutritional thing on the planet.
Well, to fatten them up, right? That's why
Yeah,
they give cows corn. So
yeah.
that kind of stops them in their tracks sometimes. And one time, one of my clients, she was eating too many nuts and she just passed by the nut jar and take a handful. And then we figured out, okay, I'm going to take a handful of nuts, weigh it, see how much it weighs, how many calories is in it, and then figure out how much time it's going to take you to eat the nut. So, 5 minutes of pleasure versus an hour of work. So is it worth it? If it is, great, keep doing it. But if it's not, then something's got to change, right?
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
that's the other part of my system too, even for myself, is you got to pass a 3-step process, even on weekends. One is, do you really want this, or are you just looking for something to do? No, I really want this drink. And then 2 is, are you going to after you consume it, are you going to regret having it? No. Okay, then you pass the test, go ahead and do it. And then you have to pay for it is number 3. So are you willing to pay for it? And like I said, do the fast on Monday. If you answer no to any of those questions, you walk away. You don't eat that food, you don't have that drink, you didn't pass the test, you can't have it. And it's been
So,
working for me.
so do you think it's counterproductive if you fast on a day you do a strength workout? Or do you think
Well,
it's better to wait until you don't do a strength workout that day?
so like strength workout is different than muscle building. Strength, you're looking to increase the strength of all the muscle fibers you currently have. Building muscles different. That's the whole game of stressing out your muscle and then feeding it. So if you're trying to get more weight mass, lean muscle mass, then it's a little counterproductive. But strength training is strength training. This is the muscle fibers you have. You can work on it. Nutrition doesn't really matter. It's more of just a physical working on those muscle fibers to build your strength up. Obviously, nutrition will help you get to the higher levels, but
Okay. Well, I got to figure that out. I'm going to test it. This week I'm going to do Wednesday, water Wednesday,
mhm.
no food on Wednesday, and then I'll test it on Monday. But I just feel like Wednesdays is going to be easier for me with that I don't do CrossFit. But CrossFit's more strength than like bodybuilding.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a little, that should be fine then, yeah. Because you're just going to
Yeah,
get new PRs and build the strength. It should be fine on that.
yeah, just accomplish new tasks. I don't want to get big. I don't
Yeah,
want to get
you just want to get
bigger.
strong.
Yeah, I just want to be able to feel like I can kick ass.
Yeah. So
That's
like on
awesome.
mine, I'm not gonna do a bodybuilding workout because it's a moot point. It'll just I'll be building nothing. So for mine, I'm just more worried about the cardio. So just doing like easy stuff, push-ups, just taking steps, going on long walks, and just constantly be moving because you're a fat burning machine right now. So that's what my goals are when I do the fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And plus it's just good for you. Wait, hold on, my son's trying to reach me. Plus it's good for you for like the autophagy
Yes.
effects, the growth hormone. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to fasting. So the longest I've done is 3.5 days.
Oh my God.
That was a good one. And I kept working out the whole time.
I mean, it
So
does
my
once your
internet's
body
breaking up
lets,
again.
yeah. Once your body lets go, it's usually that first day. The next day I feel like I have to force myself to eat whenever I said my stopping time was. I don't want it. I just feel so great. And I think it's just the lower your body, obviously the lower your body fat gets, then it's going to start getting a problem because there's nothing left to take from the tank. So then it's going to start chewing up your muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so funny. I interviewed somebody earlier this week or maybe Friday, and same thing. It was like Water Wednesday. I'm like, okay, universe is talking to me. It's like, you got to start doing longer fasts again. I haven't done it for a while. So anyways, Brad, where can the listeners find you?
Yeah, so the best place is either my website, over40fitnesshacks.com, and then 40 is 40, or just find me on your favorite spot, Spotify, iTunes, Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast. And that's the best way. Since we were talking about Tim Kelly, I think that was episode number 195, where it goes into all the micronutrients and all that. He was like one of my favorite guests. So I'd recommend him if you thought you already had him, but
yeah, I'll have to go look. We're on episode, I don't know, over 250.
Wow.
So I can't remember all my guests.
Yeah.
Just too many.
Yeah.
But it's so fun because I learned so much from
insane.
you guys.
That's why I love doing this too on mine. It's like the amount of wealth of information is all across, the world, not just the US. I'm getting guests from all over the places. So it's great.
Yeah, it's super fun. And I always sit here with my little notebook so I can take notes and make sure that, I can add some good things into my life. So,
yeah.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. You're so fun. Like, I literally loved chatting with you today. So thank you so much for taking the time and coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tracy.
Okay, that was super awesome. I hope you had a good time. For complete show notes and links, please head on over to highenergygirl.com/show. Thank you so much for listening, and make it a great day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.